Hi all, I have another fascinating game to show you of Leela Zero against Stockfish on one CPU, and this is using a set of mega aggressive openings. So e4 from Leela Zero, and we have the Sicilian, and we have actually the Smith-Morra Gambit. The problem is there are various ways for black to decline this gambit as well as just accepting it, like g6, knight f6, d3, even d5, e6. List goes on actually, and here we see e5, which is apparently quite liked by Stockfish. It's in one respect, I used to think this is like weakening on the light squares, but I'm not sure it is anymore. This position, just taking, is totally even. Really, it doesn't really matter about black having a seemingly isolated pawn there. It's just technically an even position. So anyway, white first inserts knight f3 here. So Leela inserts knight f3, waits for knight c6, now plays c takes d4. So this position, it doesn't look as though there's any big initiative. Knight f6, knight c3, bishop b4. White took on c6, and now bishop d3. Both sides castle. And now here, I guess because of the fast time limit, an awkward looking move. I mean, when I say awkward looking, it might be okay technically, but this is played. It seems as though this looks a little bit more natural to play rook e8. For example, like this, and even play d6. This looks like a fairly even continuation. So here, slightly provocative looking bishop d6 is played. King h1. We have bishop c7. And the problem with this is this looks like quite an awkward pin with the bishop on c7. We have rook b8, f4, ignoring the attack on the b2 pawn. If rook takes b2 here, this wasn't played, then e5, this is actually pretty crushing after bishop takes here, believe it or not. Just to play check, and then queen f5, bang, on h7, checkmating next. So yeah, this can be ignored for a moment. We have d6, queen c2 now protecting the pawn and threatening potentially things like e5. Not at the moment. Queen e7, rook e1. Now, what I do like about Leela's play here, it looks like very harmonious pieces in this position. h6, bishop h4, queen e6, and we have move b3 now. Bishop d8, bishop f2, and bishop b6. Bit of cat and mouse, Tom and Jerry here with the two bishops. But now rook f3 is played, queen e8. Now you might think, hold on a sec, why is h3 played here? Well, queen e8 means that bishop g4 is a concern. So, for example, if that was ignored, I'll try and give a token move after queen e8 just to show. Knight h5 first looks at the bishop, and if the bishop wants to be retained, then bishop g4 is really awkward because of f4 going. So in all this, the g4 square, it's important to try and take control of that. So it seems h3 is a necessary concession. King h8, bishop f2, bishop b6, bishop h4, bishop d8, bishop g3, bishop a5 this time. Rook e2, unpinning the knight potentially. Bishop b6, and now here e5 is played. D takes, f takes, knight d5, knight takes d5, c takes, queen d2, and queen d2 obviously looks at dark squares in black's position, and again we have another move that looks at dark squares in black's position. First it was h6 being eyed, and now kind of f6 is being eyed as well. Is there some plot on the dark squares here, some evil plot? After bishop d8, guess what white plays? So these two squares are coming together now tactically, that's the clue. White play, if I give you 5 seconds to pause the video here. Okay, yep, rook f6. This brings together everything on the dark squares. It's too dangerous, as you might expect, to take here, because of check and mating. That's not very good at all. So we have king g8. So white has installed herself on the dark squares and plays now. Guess what? Rook takes h6. Yeah, the queen's ready to come in for a kill here. So this wasn't played. If g takes, bishop f6 actually might be the most incisive. With a clever trick to accelerate a checkmate here. Can you see what white can play? Test your tactics here. White to play in this position. What would you play to get at the black king rapidly? It's like a puzzle position. Okay, white in this position will have check, the express train with the checks, check, and then mating. So yeah, clearly it's not possible. For that bishop f6, it seems to be the strongest. So bishop takes h4 was played. Rook takes h4. Now white has the luxury of bishop h7 now on the cards, but doesn't use it here. Just protects the rook for a moment. Rook b7 now uses it. Now rook h5, rook c8, king h2, rook c3, queen d2, the rooks protect each other, rook f2, a6, and now another nice attacking move. The queen wants to come near to the black king to attack and ideally double with the rook on h5. How would you achieve this? What's a way of achieving a move like queen g5 to h4 here? If I give you 5 seconds to pause the video. White play. So the art of attack here. Rook f6, interrupt the diagonal so you can play queen g5 to h4 potentially. So here if g takes, then we would have bishop d3 check, queen h6 and mating. So that can't be taken. So we have here queen c5. And now the bishop f5 check actually in this position. Bishop f5 check. There's a different idea that's available now rather than queen g5. So this is actually very, very quick here. White to play in this position. What would you play here? What's the point? Rook takes e6. Yeah, that's the point. If taking, then check. And the queen can come in here for doubling like this. And with the queen guarding e7, this is going to be mating. That's just desperate to give up the queen. So that will be absolutely decisive. So here it's ignored. It's end of game really. Queen f8. Rook d6. And then the queen comes in. Queen e8. The game ended here. This is terrible already for black. White could play rook. The game ended here because white could play rook d8, for example, now. Winning the queen. And it's all over really. It's absolutely all over like this. Scooping up everything, checkmating. So anyway, I thought that was another neat, harmonious attacking position that Leela built up at a very rapid time control. So the intuition is staggering. This is like 40 moves per minute. The intuition seems to be just as strong at the moment as Stockfish 5, at least on this version of Leela ID 458. Incredible intuition, harmony of attacking pieces, getting into key squares, coordinating on the dark squares here, breaking through. It was all very, very nice instructive stuff, I believe. I really do feel these games we can learn a great deal from how the neural network can beat brute force basically. Hope you enjoyed it. Comments, questions, likes, shares appreciated. Thanks so much.